Welcome into Hour 2 of college football pregame presented by FanDuel. We got some breaking news into CBS Sports HQ where Alabama wide receiver Ryan Williams is not expected to play today against Louisiana Monroe. That's the latest from our Matt Zenitz. He suffered a concussion in last week's loss to Florida State, did not clear protocol in time for today's contest in Tuscaloosa. Williams was a second-team All-American last season, leading the Tide in receiving yards and touchdowns in 2024. The earliest he could return is for next week's showdown against Wisconsin. We've got Danny Kanell, Beanie Wells, Bryant McFadden. I am Emily Proud, and that leads us right into our Panic Meter segment. So let me explain the numbers, what they mean. 5, full-blown panic. 4, cause for concern. 3, little worried. 2, this is fine. 1, don't fret. So let's start with 0-1 Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is now 6-4 against unranked teams. Saban was 124-4. They've got no money. They've got no talent. So where's the panic meter, Danny?
I'm at a 2.
What?
Okay.
I think they'll be
fine.
fine. I think they'll be fine. I'm not some caller who's going to call into a radio show and say the sky is falling. I think there's a couple things. One, I think the talent is still there. And maybe, just maybe, Florida State is a completely different program that people thought they were going to be coming off a 2-win season. The other aspect of this is a completely different college football world than you saw when Nick Saban was running the program. That's why I think he retired. He read the tea leaves and was like, you know what? The days of Alabama having this significant edge and talent over everybody are long gone. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll still be in the mix at the end of the year for the SEC. I just say let it breathe a little bit. They were on the road with Ty Simpson making his first start. They'll settle it out. Kalen DeBoer did not forget how to coach.
Beanie?
Full-blown panic mode.
Whoa.
Full-blown
5?
panic mode. 5, absolutely. You know, when you go back and you look at Alabama football, one thing that they could always do was run the football and rush the passer. We saw none of that last week. They lacked identity. They were not physical on either side of the football. And the more glaring thing that I saw in that game was effort. There were so many non-effort plays by an Alabama defense. I've never seen that in my life. Danny, this may very well go back to being the Alabama of the 2002 through 2007
people forget
style
about them
Alabama.
years.
They disappeared. This
Yeah.
very well could be that. And I know everybody talked about Kalen DeBoer getting back with Ryan Grubb. They'll get back on track. But getting back on track with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb was going to an air raid style offense. That's not Alabama football. So cause for concern is through the roof for me.
Where's the button? I want to hit it. I don't want to just
Hitting
say it.
the
I want to
5?
hit the button. 5. Full-blown panic. To everything Benny gave you guys, I echo that. But most importantly for Alabama fans, the things that we did not see a week ago is surfaced last year as well. A lack of toughness. You don't have to be the most talented player on the football field, but in terms of effort and just playing with grit and heart, that is who you have to be when you play football. We have yet to see that. We saw that surface in the losses a year ago. Last week, Florida State was the most dominant team, and they were tougher. They fought harder for longer. That's something that you cannot accept if you're an Alabama fan and if you were cheering for Alabama throughout the Nick Saban years. And the last thing I said about this being a full-blown panic, well, 2 more things. Ty Simpson looked a bit shaky. I don't know if you can build around him. But lastly, they have 5 ranked teams they have to play. Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, and the Iron Bowl in Auburn. If you look at that schedule and you look at what we've seen a week ago compared to what we saw last year as well and believe they can get through that gauntlet in a positive way, stop drinking the booze.
I love it. Taking a look at Alabama's schedule here. We want to transition, though, to Arch Manning. A lot of talk about him this week. Through the first 3 quarters last Saturday, 9 of 15 for 38 yards and an interception. An unnamed NFL scout told multiple media outlets that it was hard to watch. So, BMAC, where's the panic here?
Number
1
3.
to 5. Number 3.
For
okay.
me.
A little worried.
I go a little worried, and the reason why is because Arch didn't look comfortable. It looked like the moment was too big for him. And if you're a guy, if you're a dude, if you're making your first start, if you're making your 3rd or 4th start, you should never look like the moment is too big for you. And he allowed Julian Saying, who made his first start, to outplay him. So that's a concern for me because all the hype that Arch has received, it's unfair to him because that hype has come because of the bloodline in the last name. So the expectations are super, super high. And he may never reach those expectations. Not saying he won't be a good quarterback, but you're talking about being one of the best to ever do it. That's what people are saying with Arch Manning. So when you look at the struggles that we saw last week, I think he will bounce back. But then you look at the rest of their schedule. They got to go on the road to Florida. You know, you got to play A&M. You got a lot of Oklahoma. You got a lot of major matchups where defenses will kind of give you some of the same looks that you struggled against against Ohio State. So I'm a little worried because it's just that the expectations are so high. I don't know if he can reach those expectations in his first full year as a starter.
I'm going to go 1. You know, I know he didn't look great on the road in a tough environment, but he was going against an NFL-style defense. I mean, Matt Patricia won multiple Super Bowls at the helm of coaching the New England Patriots defenses. So he threw a lot at him, and a young quarterback, when you go into a tough environment, you're going to be rattled. I think it's only a 1 for me because I understand they play San Jose State, they got Sam Houston, they got UTEP. He'll build his confidence. And we all know for a young quarterback, it's important to have confidence. And last week he didn't have it. It was tough. I think he'll get that moving forward the rest of the year.
Danny, you said you didn't think Texas was going to make the playoff. So where's the panic meter? On Arch?
Which is why I think they'll be fine, because that's what I expected.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a bumpy year for Arch. I went down and watched the tape, and somebody early in my career told me something that was really valuable. After you watch the game film, it's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. You kind of have to take the good with the bad. And I don't think it was awful. Clearly, there were some things where he struggled, didn't see the field too well, forced a couple balls. But I also saw him later in that game starting to get through progressions, starting to get more comfortable in the pocket. I think Sark should work a little bit more tempo, no huddle, where he can just go out there and play and find a rhythm as a passer. But I think this is going to be a bumpy year for Arch and for Texas. And ultimately, I still think he's talented. I still think he's got the skills that Sark can develop him. But it takes time. The only way to learn as a quarterback is live game action. And I know he's been there for a couple years sitting behind and watching and learning. But the only way to get used to those environments is playing in them.
I know you said what you expected from Texas. But if that became a reality, don't you think they would kind of panic in Austin if they do not make the playoffs?
Well, maybe finally they
realized
realized they were out of their minds to say they should have been the national champion favorite and Arch should have been the Heisman favorite. That to me was always ridiculousness. The fact that those type of expectations were put on somebody who hasn't played much college football. No matter who you are, no matter how many stars, it's not just the last name. The 5-star quarterbacks, they don't always hit. And usually when they do, it takes time to develop them.
Yeah, he was the #1 quarterback in that class. A class with a lot of 5-star quarterbacks as well. We're seeing Dante Moore, Oregon, Nico Amaya.
Those guys were 2, 3, and they're at different schools.
Yeah.
They don't always just hit the first year.
No, usually takes a little bit of time. That's certainly what they hope is happening in Chapel Hill right now, taking some time to warm up. Bill Belichick in college, he allowed his most points ever in a game in any aspect of his career, and 48 points, lost the starting quarterback. I know where I'm feeling right now, but Danny, where are you on the panic
So do you guys
meter?
realize this offseason I was so excited for this? I mean, this is great for college
Is that
football.
like a hoodie?
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, this is a
cutoff.
Exactly. I went out and got this sweet North Carolina hoodie, cut off the sleeves. I was fired up
you cut
to
off
be
the sleeves.
rocking. Oh, yeah. I was ready to go. Man, I am throwing this thing out. My expectations have completely changed for North Carolina. That was alarming at the highest levels because of what you saw. I thought you would see similar. Matt Patricia, NFL background, completely confused Arch Manning. You've got Bill Belichick with decades of football knowledge behind him, and that was the game plan that you could come up with to slow down Josh Hoover, and you gave up 48 points. Quarterback play after that first drive looked like a significant issue. Maybe if you switch to Max Johnson to provide some stability, somebody who's played at the elite level. But, man, my panic meter is off the charts for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Coming into the season, I thought it could be boom or bust. And, boy, it's sure looking like it's going to be a bust.
My panic meter is about a 3, and for a lot of the reasons that you just mentioned, but none more than the fact that they got 70 new guys on this roster.
And none of them look any good.
But that's insane for a coaching staff to say, we're going to go out and go get 70 essential free agents and bring them and expect them to play in jail right off the bat. But I think it'll take time. I think Belichick is smart enough, and they got enough on that coaching staff to get these guys to figure it out cohesively to where they can gel, and they'll win some football games. Will they be a college football playoff contender? No, but will they be at the bottom of the barrel? I don't think so either.
I'm right there with Benny. I'm a little worried because of the lack of toughness that I watched. That's alarming because Coach Belichick has always been a tough-minded coach, and his players are reflections of who he's been as a coach. But in terms of expectations, I never really expected to see great play from them, just more of an effort thing. But they have the luxury in terms of their schedule. They don't play Florida State, they don't play Miami, they don't play Louisville, they don't play SMU. They have Clemson. Every other team, especially when they start finding their groove with some of the new players that you mentioned, Benny, they should be okay, in my opinion. So I'm not going to full-blown panic. It was ugly. The expectations, the attention they received clearly was a big letdown. But I think they should be okay, especially when these new players get acclimated to this new system.
I love the flip-flopping that we did. You started with a very measured approach, ended on full-blown panic. You started with full-blown panic.
Bama's still got talent.
Props.
UNC better beat Charlotte today. Just watch out.
Oh, boy. Okay, maybe we'll have some underdog picks later on in the show, but let's get you some picks just straight up in these games. We've got young quarterbacks in action, first-time starters, all sorts of fun. Best bets next.